You ever notice how evil isn't some cackling villain in a cave, but more like your neighbor who refuses to sort their trash? Yeah, it turns out history's greatest atrocities weren't committed by mustache-twirling maniacs, but by Barry from accounting who just followed orders. The devil doesn't whisper in your ear anymore, he just emails you a memo. The world isn't ruined by grand cinematic evil only, but with the help of tiny, thoughtless actions repeated millions of times. The philosopher Hannah Arendt called it the banality of evil, and that's what she saw when she covered the trial of Adolf Eichmann in 1961. She expected to witness a mastermind of evil, but what she found was painfully normal, just some bureaucrat who kept saying I was following orders. And that's when she realized true evil isn't loud, dramatic, or even self-aware, it's disturbingly mundane. Arendt wasn't some ivory tower academic who had the luxury of theorizing about evil. Born in 1906 in Germany, she was a Jewish philosopher who had to flee the Nazis because, well, being Jewish in Nazi Germany was the fast track to not existing anymore. Yeah, nothing says philosophical awakening like running for your life. She fled Nazi Germany and still had to explain to people that evil exists. Man, humanity is exhausting. Her main focus was trying to understand how normal people become instruments of horror, not because they hate, but because they stop thinking. Besides Adolf Hitler and his likes, evil is also committed by people who never pause to ask, wait, should I be doing this? So back to Eichmann, he was one of the Nazi officials responsible for organizing the Holocaust. You'd expect him to be the terrifying, bloodthirsty villain, right? Not exactly. At his trial, he wasn't ranting about ideology, he wasn't even passionate. He just kept saying, I followed the law, I did my duty. There was no remorse, no reflection, just the mechanical insistence that he obeyed the law. The court read out his crimes. He organized train routes to transport millions to concentration camps. He made sure those trains ran on time. Every logistical detail of mass murder went through his desk, and yet when confronted with it, he reacted as if he were discussing shipping invoices. One survivor testified about the cattle cars, crammed with people, no food, no water, and poor children suffocating in the heat. Yet Eichmann barely reacted. He just adjusted his glasses. That's when Arendt realized this is how evil truly operates. She was terrified by how mindless his evil was. Just following orders is the deadliest phrase in human history. And that's the part that should make you nervous. If you wake up every morning with a fiery spirit thinking, today I'm gonna make a difference, well, rejoice because you are. Sure, Hannah called it the banality of evil, but honestly, we could just call it a Tuesday because if you've ever mindlessly clicked accept all cookies on a website without reading the terms, congratulations, you've just participated in the slow decay of civilization. Because those cookies aren't just digital snacks, what you don't know is that they track everything you do, what you click, what you search, and how long you stare at ads. Companies use this data to build psychological profiles, manipulate your behavior, and in some cases sell your soul to the algorithm. But don't worry, we've all been there. Obviously, Eichmann's crimes are way more heinous than clicking accepts all cookies, but the main point is the mindset of being just a cog in the machine. The belief that it's not me, it's just my role, that personal responsibility dissolves in the face of duty or routine. You sit through a movie you hate because walking out would feel weird. Why? Because we were trained for this. School taught you that the correct answer matters more than the question, and studies show that most people conform even when they know something is wrong. We live in a world where nonsense spreads faster than facts, where destruction is automated, and where you can literally ruin someone's life just by working in customer service. Welcome to democracy. And the scariest part, no one's actively trying to be evil. The system runs on autopilot. We're all just pressing buttons, checking boxes, and trusting that someone else knows what's going on. Spoiler, they're just worried about their child's tuition. First, there's the fusion of responsibility, which is just a fancy way of saying not my problem. You ever see a group of people ignore a crying child in public? That's because everyone assumes someone else will handle it. Then there's obedience to authority. Studies show that if a guy in a lab coat tells us to do something, we'll probably do it, no questions asked. That's why history books are filled with, I was just following orders. And let's not forget normalization, the psychological trick where if you see something often enough, it stops being weird. That's why we think doom scrolling through catastrophic news while eating snacks is a normal night. Now, before you start spiraling into, oh great, I have to be a paranoid detective for every decision I make, relax, you're not supposed to live in constant fear of accidentally endorsing evil just because you accepted some cookies or didn't stage a protest at the self-checkout line. The point isn't perfection, it's awareness. Don't guilt trip yourself into paralysis, just keep in mind every dystopia starts with, it's not my problem, and every resistance starts with, maybe it is. The absurdity of life means we might as well choose our own meaning, and if that means involving not being a passive cog in the doomsday machine, hey, that's a pretty solid choice. This is the part where I usually offer counsel, but at this point even I'm too lazy to be on guard 24/7. And I definitely wouldn't preach about something I'm not gonna do myself, that wouldn't be fair. So sorry for just making you self-aware. See you next time.